And now, from beyond our dimension, this is the JeffMara Podcast. Here's Jeff.
Hello, everybody. Happy Saturday to you. And if it's a Sunday on your side of the planet, well, happy Sunday to you. All right, it's Saturday night. It is your time to come and share. So if you are ready to share, we are ready for you. And if you want to come and share, then all you have to do is look down in the description below. There's a link to the Zoom access. You can use that, or you can just go to Zoom, click join a meeting, and then it will prompt you to enter the room ID, which is below, and it will also prompt you for the password, which is down below. All right, so beyond that, what else is in the description below is a link to our Facebook page, the JeffMara Facebook page. There's a link to my personal Facebook profile. You're welcome to friend me. You will see that my last name is Reynolds. Mara is my beloved wife. The podcast is named after me and her. So that is there. There's a link to our music channel. I'm kind of slowly putting up stuff there, at least I have been, but there is at least one meditative type piece of music there. Among other stuff, there is a link to our cooking channel. There's a link to our Discord, although that's been changed and you have to kind of email me personally. I think my email address is also below. So other than that, I think we are about ready to go. Let's see what is going on here. We've got 3 people already waiting, and if you want to join me in the and if you want to join me, you have to be here and we have to kind of verify you. That's what we've been doing lately. And who said that? Carmen Jacinto said happy solar eclipse to everybody, and I would say yes, happy solar eclipse. I was out there today. It was right over our house in Texas here, and I tried to get a picture, and I thought about posting it, and when I was kind of like doing a selfie with my camera and the sun behind me, and you could see the ring around it, but it was so bright. But the fascinating thing was you could see the sun, and and then you could actually see another like reflection off the window of the house, and you could see the ring there much better. But it wasn't that amazing. I'm sure there's a million better pictures of the eclipse today on the internet, so that's why I didn't post mine. It just wasn't that spectacular, and that's that. All right, so let's see who we've got waiting for us here. We have Lakshmi, Jane, Ya, and Jennifer Chicago. Jane, Ya, and Jennifer, are you here with us in the chat? If you are, please say hi. And my wife will be along soon, so maybe she can verify you. And Lakshmi is Vicki Gold Ganesh, so we'll see what this Vicki's up to. Let's bring Vicki in. And there's a great question for him because I don't know what the pronouns are. So we'll decide on that. See what Vicki has to say. It's 2 a.m. in Italy. Wow, thank you so much for staying up that late for us. There's Vicki.
Hi.
Vicki, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Are you able to hear me?
I can hear you and see you just fine. I was going to
Yeah.
ask you, what are your pronouns?
It could be they. They
They?
is the best.
You use they.
Yeah.
Okay. And for those of you
Yeah.
that don't know, Vicki is in Bangalore, India. He is one of the few people out there that have had his DNA altered by ETs. He now has a Z chromosome, and he is not a hermaphrodite, but he does have, well, I mean, I think everybody really has a certain amount of, hormones, at least from both sexes, but you are been altered really to have, I don't know, how would you explain that, Vicki?
Yeah, actually, I have been programmed to have both male and female qualities as a pre-birth contract in this lifetime.
In the pre-birth
Just after
contract.
just after my previous lifetime as Alexei.
Mm-hmm. You've got a new character behind you today. Usually you have Tsar Nicholas, but who is that?
This is just Tigress.
Tigress. Is that an ET? Because there are cat-like ETs out there that people see.
No. This is not related to ET especially, but this is related to my today's program as the king of the forest.
Ah, interesting. That's a new that's a new look for you. King of the forest. I like it.
Yeah.
So you weren't here last week. What happened to you?
Actually, last week I started my program a bit late, so I could not catch up with you.
You started your program where?
A bit late. I had some stage programs.
Oh, wow.
So I had to start this a bit late.
Okay, that's cool. You're doing
individual.
You're doing theater productions?
No, some sort of stage programs as well as both sometimes as a male, sometimes as a female.
Mm-hmm. What kind of programs are you performing?
Like dances? Like hula hoop. Yeah, hula hoop and a little bit of yoga related.
Do you practice yoga?
Yeah, I do practice. I have some speeches relating to yoga in my YouTube channel itself.
Yeah.
A few videos are related to yoga and yoga poses actually.
Oh, cool. That'd be interesting. I didn't know that you were doing yoga poses and everything else. I thought it was mostly dancing.
Most of my oldest videos are also relating to yoga and yoga poses.
Well, what kind of new information do you have for us this week?
This week, I had one strange dream about 3-4 days ago.
Yeah.
Actually, I was locked in a room in that dream. I was encountered by audio entities. They didn't have any physical form as such.
Interesting.
They were having only audio messages this time. But no doubt they were also ETs as far as I know. And they had a message for me that to Google about spontaneous human combustion. SHC.
Interesting. I think that there are reports out there of spontaneous human combustion.
Yeah, just like this NDE. And they also asked me to share about this with the audience.
All right, tell us about it.
Just they asked me to share that spontaneous human combustion is related to this Kundalini energy, overactive Kundalini energy moving in the wrong direction.
Fascinating. That is pretty cool.
So that leads to this phenomenon, which is still not being understood scientifically. And it's mostly related to the Kundalini energy moving in the wrong direction.
Have you had a Kundalini awakening yourself?
No, I don't know consciously, but I have studied Kundalini Reiki. Kundalini awakening, I don't know whether I have had, but I've studied Kundalini Reiki, and I consciously have done Kundalini Reiki meditations to activate the dormant Kundalini energy.
Do you know that yogic poses to activate Kundalini energy?
Most of the poses which deal with the inversions, like handstand, headstand, scorpion poses, deal with the activation of Kundalini energy, and also this Padmasan and poses of that sort.
Do you teach Kundalini on your YouTube channel?
I have taught some meditations relating to Kundalini in my YouTube channel, especially the oldest videos which I posted 2 to 3 years ago.
Now your YouTube channel is called Vicki Gold Ganesh?
Yeah.
All right, so if anybody wants to check that out, that's on his YouTube channel.
And last month I have also posted a video, very short video relating to my past life.
All right. All right. What else do you have for us today, Vicki?
Especially this dream, this audio dream, that is visitation by this audio entities. They didn't have any form. They were only communicating. Maybe they are from the mental dimension, which doesn't have any physical aspects, I guess. Because we are being also visited by the mental beings from the mental world, which doesn't have physical which is not a physical plane, I think. It's a mental dimension. So they were sharing to me about this spontaneous human combustion, because until then I have not heard of such terms. Maybe once I read and I forgot, but they just remind me again about this.
Someone in the chat asked the question, do we live in a simulation? What do you think?
I think our simulation is custom made. Each person has created their own simulation as a pre-agreed plan, birth plan, as a pre-agreed birth plan.
So you think we create our own simulation? That's what you're saying?
No, our spirit guides create simulation for us.
Oh, our spirit
and
guides.
Makes sense. We actually get a preview of our individual customized simulation before our birth, and then we agree, as far as I remember and as I know.
You know, I woke up the other morning. Let me see if it's here. I want to check real quick. I think it was Yahoo News that there was a news article. I didn't read it. And it was saying that we live in a simulation. I should have read that. I just kind of... Yahoo News, there's an article there 4 days ago, like I was saying, and it says, are we living in a Matrix-style simulated universe? That was on Yahoo News 4 days ago. So I need to probably get a copy of that and post it to the JeffMara Podcast Facebook page. New research says it's possible. So there you guys go. There you guys go. We keep talking about this over and over, and now new research is saying that it's possible. And while I'm just chit-chatting with you guys, I'm going to post that to the JeffMara Podcast Facebook page. So if you want to find that article, it's easy to go find it there. And there it is. Great. All right. So you going to dance for us today?
Yeah, that was fun. And before that, I would also like to share that our simulations help us to learn some certain life lessons as a pre-agreed birth plan.
I like that cane. That looks really neat.
Yeah. This is actually related to royalty.
It looks, I was going to say, it kind of reminds me of something ancient Egyptian.
Yeah, I purchased this outside a palace.
Oh, you did?
Shopping mall. Yeah.
Are there, where you live in Bangalore, are there many Hindu temples?
Yeah, there are, but not so much.
Not so much. Are you, what city are you in?
I'm in Bangalore. This Bangalore itself is called a city, like a cosmopolitan city.
Okay, I thought Bangalore was more like a state of India. I didn't realize it was a city. Bangalore,
It is
is that you live in Bangalore?
yeah. It is also called as Bangalore,
Mm-hmm.
but the traditional name is Bangalore.
Did you get that cane outside of Bangalore Palace?
Yeah, I got it from Ernakulam state.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's really nice. That's so cool. All right, see, we get to learn a little bit about India with you.
Yeah.
All right, you ready to dance?
Yeah.
I'm going to put on some dance music. Dude, unfortunately, you can't hear it. I wish you could, but it just doesn't broadcast through. And it's rocking. Vicki, thank you so much for the dancing. Great job.
Yeah.
Great job.
Yeah.
All right, Vicki, I got to run. I've got 4 people in the waiting room, but I will see you. I will see you next Saturday.
Yeah.
All right, have a great week. Take care, Vicki. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And another big round of applause for Vicki. Thank you, Vicki. So we have 4 people there. Let me put on something. And Mara finally got here. So if Jane Yaw, Klein, WL, Sophia, Dumitru, or Jennifer Chicago are here, please identify yourself in the chat so we can kind of try to vet and make sure that you are seriously here, if that's the right way to put it, but you're not here to troll. And I know that it's going to take here for a second, but again, try to identify yourself in the chat so we can decide who to bring on next. That's been our way of doing this. And actually already somebody disappeared after I said that, so perhaps that was a troll. Hello, Luke. All right, so let me pull up my weekly. I was trying to pull up my calendar. Oh, okay, I think I got it now. Just give me 1 second here. Let me try to get my calendar open so I can tell everybody what's going on next week. All right, so next week, let's see. who we've got. I have, for tomorrow's guest, let me turn this down. And Catherine Rodier, thank you so much for that. Super thanks. And so again, tomorrow's video will be with Professor Brinson, and we will talk about his near-death experience. The next one, Monday night's video, is with the psychic firefighter, and it is an amazing UFO encounter. The guy was a Coast Guard member, and he was on a small boat, and his job at night was to just patrol at night with binoculars and night vision goggles, looking for other boats and whatever else is out there, and spotted a UFO, and the whole 20 people came up top. Even the captain woke up in the middle of the night to come take a look at it, and it's an amazing story. So that'll be ready for you on Monday night. And I have Mary Lee Smith this week with a near-death experience. And that's all I have scheduled at the moment. But most likely more will be coming. So that's the upcoming week so far. All right, so far we don't have Jane, we don't have Sophia, we don't have Jennifer, and we have Batina. Let's let Batina in from Germany. She was here last time. If you are here, Jane, Sophia, or Jennifer, please identify yourself in the chat. All right, so far we don't have Jane, we don't have Sophia, we don't have Jennifer. Batina, if you're there, mute the YouTube video.
Yes.
The Bashar interview is awesome,
Hello.
by the way. Hi. How are you?
Hi, Jeff.
Welcome back.
I'm fine, thank you. I hope the light is better.
Yeah, it's good.
Today.
It's great.
Yeah,
How
good.
is everything going on in Germany, right?
Very well, but it's rainy days.
A rainy day. I'm so thankful
rainy
for
days
you
all
guys.
the week. It was. Sorry?
I was going to say, I have you here, and you're here so late. And I'm very thankful for that you're willing to stay up so late.
Yeah, thank you for having me again.
And you got a nice you got a nice cozy fireplace there.
Yeah, it's artificial. It's electrical.
It still looks nice and cozy.
Thank you.
Is it cold yet there?
It's now cold, about 10 or 11 degrees Celsius. I don't know what it is.
I don't know what
Fahrenheit.
that makes me in Fahrenheit. Yeah, it's probably 40 is 100, so I would assume 20 is 50. I'm just guessing. You said what?
Yeah.
10 or 11?
10 or 11. Yeah, at the night, I think it's about 10 or 9.
Wow.
So I had to.
That's already getting cold.
Yeah, colder.
What do you have to share? Well, let me see. Convert 10 Celsius to Fahrenheit. We'll get that real quick. 50 degrees. Oh, I was way off. So 50, it's still chilly. That's chilly, at least chilly for me.
Starting. So let me see. I just opened my file here. If you like, I can read again so it's more fluent.
Okay. What were you going to share with us? I forgot.
What I didn't tell you. I want to share something that happened in January 2017 when I was woken up by an ET.
Okay, wow.
In my bedroom.
Well, before you start, when you woke up, was the ET like there in your room, like you saw this
he was
gray or
showing
something?
my duvet. He was duvet. What do you call it? Duvet?
Yeah, we called it.
He was pulling it away.
Wow. What did the before you tell the story, I'd like to know, what did the ET look like?
He looked like a typical gray ET. He was about, I think, I wrote it all down, 5 feet something, 5 feet.
Okay.
And he was, I would just describe it there. And
okay.
Yeah, I had called out for a visit, so it happened.
How did you do that? Before you start, how did you call out for a visit?
Standing thoughts. Just imagine that I can reach them with my thoughts.
You didn't physically say something, you just thought out
both,
ETs
both.
In your mind.
Physically
both.
and thinking, concentrating, imagining that they can hear me and obviously they did. So I start reading it. All right?
Yes, please.
So January 10th, 2017. I was sad and worried because I had to face an unpleasant talk with my boss the next day about my poor performance the past month, and he was not pleased with me, and I can understand him. I was ready to tell him the truth, how I felt inside about my work, and no more hiding. And with that in mind, I felt tired early in the evening, so I went to bed very early at 8:30 p.m. I have to say that before I go on, that I see these ETs as my friends and helpers. And so I called out for them to help me with a very important decision. So with that in mind, I felt tired early in the evening, so I went to bed very early at 8:30. That is really unusual for me. I usually go to bed at 11. I felt like getting a cold. I complained to my upper 10,000, as I call them. I told them that I really cannot go on living alive with a job I do not love, and that I really want them to come and comfort me and tell me what I'm here for. What should I really do? Everybody asks it. What's my mission? My goodness. What shall I do for the rest of my years on Earth? I really felt sorry for myself, and so with that mood, I fell asleep. At 2:00 and 10 minutes, so 2:10 a.m., I awoke, thirsty, drank a little sip of water, and fell asleep again a little bit later. I slept lying on my right side, facing a nearby wall with a window to the street. And suddenly I felt someone lifting and folding or shoving away half of my duvet, so my back and my legs were uncovered and becoming cold. And I was half awake, and I asked myself, who could have done that? I'm living alone. I pulled my duvet back, wrapped myself into it, really wrapped it around my body, and decided, half asleep, to ignore the fact that this was not normal. And I started falling asleep again. But very shortly after, someone was pulling on my duvet again. It was 2 short pullings made me to wake up, and now I was wide awake. I was alerted. Somebody was there, and I pondered whether I should turn around and look into my darkened room to face whatever there would be, or just pretend that I'm still asleep. Maybe the intruder, I thought it was a thief, would take my jewelry and then leave without harming me. But then I decided this is my room, and I have to find out who has entered my space. And that was the scary part. I thought to myself, well, if someone breaks into my room, and I will have to teach him a lesson. Then I have to teach him a lesson. He will be very surprised when I will jump right into his face and attack him. I embraced myself for a fight, turned around, now lying on my left side, leaning on my left elbow and trying to identify who was there. On the wall opposite from my bed, I saw a figure pressed against the wall. I could also hear a sound of someone moving around. It had the height like me, 5'5". I could only see that it had an oval head, thin body, big eyes, small mouth, and I immediately realized that it must be a gray. So I said, "Are you an extraterrestrial?" I really spoke that out. And then the figure moved towards me with 3 large steps, and while doing so, it shape-shifted into a little girl of 4 years old, and very likely looking like little Shirley Temple. I don't know why he chose that. It stopped right before me at my bedside, and I wasn't afraid at all. I was happy. I was really happy. And I said, I always wanted to see an ET, and now you're here. And I grabbed her two hands. With my hands, I grabbed her hands as soon as she stopped there. and I felt 3 long fingers in both of my hands. But she was standing in front of me like a little chubby girl, 4-year-old human girl. But my hands were feeling the real hands, not what I saw. So there was a difference in what I saw and what I felt. Well, while grabbing them, I said, "Oh, what a joy. I can eventually see you and even touch you. And even, may I even touch you?" And then I asked this person, "Are you Arem?" Arem is what I thought my spirit leader, my spiritual leader. The hands felt very warm, like a human with a fever, and the skin felt like silk, very smooth, very soft. To me, it seemed that the being was a bit overrun by my bubbly and spontaneous reaction. It stood there holding my hands too and answered, "No, I'm not Arem. Who's Arem?" And these answers were in my head, so it did move the mouth. And I answered, "Arem is my guardian angel, my spirit guide. May I call you Arem?" And the being answered, "Yes," and then immediately after that, "No." So I don't know why this happened. I looked at the hands of the being that showed itself to me as a little girl, and I remembered that I felt a child hand in September 2016. That goes back in 2016 when I had a healing from someone I couldn't see because I couldn't move and I couldn't open my eyes. In 2016, I asked to this being to touch my hand because I thought I had a fever dream. I was very sick that day. And someone touched me and it felt like a little hand of a little child. So I asked, was it you coming to treat me that September 2016? And was it this little hand that I felt when I asked for a touch as a proof? And he said, yes, that was me. And then I thanked him for that. And then suddenly I blinked out. I lost consciousness. And again, I felt a pulling on my duvet. Again, my position was lying on my right side towards the window, the wall with the window, and not looking into the room. So I turned around again and apologized for falling asleep in the middle of our conversation, which is indeed not a good behavior. And there still was the little Shirley Temple girl standing there. And then I put my left hand around her very thin waist. My hand became very warm, like giving Reiki. Those who are familiar with Reiki, your hands will get becoming very hot when energy is flowing. I was surprised and I said, "Oh, my hands are becoming really hot." And then I realized there were more beings in the room. I felt them, but I could not see them. It was more like a swirly movement of some darker dust or something, a strange thing to see. And I asked, who else is here? Because I can sense there are more here. And the girl said, "Oh, don't mind. That are only my little moon friends." And I said, "Moon friends?" And she said, "Yes. They are living on the moon. They have their station there. Do not fear, they will touch your feet now." And I answered, "Oh, well, okay, but no tickling. Otherwise I have to laugh and will not be able to talk to you." And as soon as I've said that, I felt the end of my duvet being lifted and 3 long fingers were playfully tickling my feet. And of course I had to chuckle. During our short conversation, I tried to look into the girl's eye, but she held her face in such a position that I could not look directly into her eyes. So she was always moving her head a little bit to the side. I don't know why she did that. I could see that her eyes were shaped like human eyes, but all black. Then I blacked out again, like a light bulb that was switched off. Again, I awoke because of pulling of my duvet. Again, I found myself lying on my right side with my back to the being. turning around, apologizing again. I said, I'm sorry for falling asleep again. I have no explanation to that behavior. But there was nobody there anymore. I looked at the clock and it was exactly 3:30 a.m. I decided to go up, have a tea, and write down what I just had experienced because I feared that if I go to sleep now, I will forget everything. And this really happened. So, and then the next day when I went to work, I saw a green sign, and I don't know if I can I just for a moment show you on my computer what this picture was?
Sure. Let me make it available.
How can I do that?
Well, I'm going to make it available for you to share screen.
All right.
And then I don't know what you're on. If you're on a PC, at the bottom it says share screen.
Okay, I have to look.
Do you see that
Share
at the bottom?
screen. I just have my
bottom of your Zoom screen.
Left, right. Share screen. Bildschirm freigeben. Yeah, it is. There, just a minute. And there's the picture. Isn't it funny?
I don't see it yet.
Can you see? No, you cannot see it?
No.
Why not?
I don't know, but as soon as I can, I will let you know.
Does it need some time? I just opened the file.
No, it shouldn't. It usually just goes right into sharing screen. Try sharing your screen again.
Maybe there. Freigeben. Okay, let's see.
Here we go.
This.
Okay, now you're sharing your screen. Now you've got a... Oh, there it is.
You can see
Talk
that.
with aliens.
Isn't that funny?
Cool. Yeah, that's so cool.
Talk with aliens. Tolerance. It was
like
about
that.
tolerance, but this... Yeah, but just the next day, going to work and seeing this, having the experience the night before, I think this is absolutely great.
I think it's a great synchronicity.
It is. I took a photo.
That's
not to forget that.
That is so awesome.
Here I am again.
So do you have any? All right, I'll stop the screen share. Give me one moment.
Yeah, all right.
Hold on, let me come up here and do that.
How do I open?
Stop patient sharing, and then I'm back. So would you say that those moon friends would be like fairies in a way?
No. What I think is that they were out of phase. That they were there, but in a highly different vibration, and that translated for me as like a swirl. Fairies? No, I never met fairies.
Did you say that the name was Aram or Arem?
Arem. Arem. A-R-E-M.
Arem. Okay.
I always thought because
I thought it was A-R-A-M is an Armenian name. Yeah, but she said A-R-E-M.
Arem, yeah.
Arem.
Yeah, I once had I have a friend, she could channel. And that was in 92 when she said to me, I can channel, I can talk to dead people. And I said, oh, great. And can you find out if I have a guardian angel? And immediately there was coming someone through and said, I'm Arem. And I was so shocked. I didn't say anything for 2 days, and then I asked more questions.
That was amazing. That was amazing accounting. Thank you for sharing it with us.
Yeah. Yeah, I had.
So how did your thing go with your boss? Because you said you had a meeting about your performance. Did it do well?
The next morning I had this talk, and I told him that I wasn't happy what I was doing, and he offered me another position. So cool. To make it easier for me.
Oh, great.
So it wasn't that bad, indeed. But I wanted to be honest with him. I don't want to say something that's not true anymore. I wanted to be true. That was a time where I decided no more, not lies, but pretending or hiding behind something, being truthful. So, yeah, so that was a great experience. And of course, you can imagine if you see an ET, for me it was like the borders on this earth didn't exist anymore. I thought I'm a human being and he is not a human being. So nothing else counts. If I'm German or European, or if I'm, white or black or anything, it doesn't count. And from which country I'm coming or whatever, it didn't count. I was an earthling and he was not. And I saw myself as an earthling, simply that. So it was like falling borders, no existing borders on Earth anymore. And it changed my perspective.
Have you had any more ET contact experiences since
yes.
then? Well, great. We got a reason for you to come
more.
back next week.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
All right.
Okay, I will.
Do I pronounce your name Batina or?
Batina is perfect, yes.
All right. Well, Batina, thank you so much for coming and sharing and staying up late with us. We really appreciate you.
It's a pleasure.
And have a great rest of your weekend.
Thank you. You all too. Thank you all for listening. Goodbye.
All right, bye-bye. And a big round of applause for Batina. All right, so did any of these three people, there's a Jane, a Sophia, and a Jennifer, any of those contact you in the chat? So, and they're not here in the chat, so they're probably, I'm guessing they're fake, well, yeah, fake or trolls or whatever you want to say, but they're not serious guests potentially. Now, Julie Leclerc, Sophia is here. Sophia Dumitru is here. Okay. So we'll let Sophia in. Yeah. JCM Adams is here. I'm not sure which one is JCM Adams. And Sophia is here. Oh, there's Sophia. All right. We're just waiting on her sound. Where's my little card that says waiting for audio to sync? Compliments of our very own Penny Sutton. I don't know if Penny's here tonight. There it is. It's saying connecting. Sophia, all right, you made it. Awesome.
Hi, I'm real.
You're a real person. That's so awesome.
Yes.
You're not a, maybe we should call them, what's so funny is, and I'm probably a lot of people here, we talk about this during the podcast about background people. I don't know if, but that comes from Dolores Cannon, but maybe that's got to be our new word. Instead of trolls, we'll just say that the people who come and, I don't know if you've been here when they've come and caused trouble.
I've not. I've definitely heard of background people before. Mm-hmm. I personally don't subscribe to that. If for no other reason, mm-hmm. I feel like it kind of gives like narcissists and sociopaths a pass on mm-hmm. thinking that other people aren't real. Yeah. Well, and it's only my world. Makes sense. I don't know about that.
Yeah. I don't know either. I mean, but I thought it was fascinating when I first heard about it. Yeah. And usually I ask about it with different guests, and I'm too bad Dolores herself is no longer with us on this side, because I would love to talk to her about that.
Yeah.
But
I was on once before, I think about a year ago, just simply sharing that I didn't have an NDE of my own. I've been researching you and watching regularly because I've been working on a script for a TV show for NDE, about NDE.
How is that going?
Well, I haven't done much in the past year because I've been really struggling with my depression. And I find that when you get yourself really heavily into the NDE world, feels and looks like it's better over there.
Wow.
And
yeah,
it hasn't been good for me in being here. So I needed to kind of put it on the shelf and just really raise my own, willpower and, love of life and being here. So I was really doing that. I spent 3 months in Europe.
Cool.
I took a trip.
Awesome.
Yeah.
That should get your spirits up.
Yes, and it was very specific. I went to specific places that I had been seeing from afar, or places that I was interested in that I might want to live. So, like, I went to it's my second time back to Findhorn. I don't know if you've heard of Findhorn up in Scotland. It's a spiritual community that's been around since the 60s. And then I went to a place in Italy called Damanhur, which is an amazing place. Damanhur, Damanhur, and I would really recommend to people to look it up. Absolutely amazing place. So anyway, that's what I haven't been working on the script, but I just have little shares that I thought since there were a few, I would just get on camera. So thank you for allowing that.
Yeah, of course.
I wanted to say that I saw your interview with Robin Landsong, who had the near-death experience when she was abducted and ended up in what is now Zimbabwe.
Right. That was a pretty crazy accounting. I mean, that was
absolutely
pretty scary.
And I was just so fascinated by her. I signed up for every class that she was teaching, and I've had 2 or 3 personal healing sessions with her where she sings her healing, but it's more than that. She's really more of a medical intuitive, and it turns out that she specializes in people with brain injuries. And I've had about 7 concussions in my life. And the work that she's done has been absolutely profound. And I mean, like, I really feel it.
What kind of results did you get?
Well, she would focus on certain parts of the brain that she could see were holding trauma or damage. And she would work on it. And at first, I was absolutely I felt like I was in the room in a whole different way. And she said, this is just one piece. And the next day I crashed, couldn't get out of bed. I felt like I'd been run over by a Mack truck. And she explained that makes perfect sense. If you've had multiple brain injuries or had one for a long time, your brain kind of does a lot of workarounds with areas where there's held trauma or damage. And so if you shift one part in your brain, there's going to be a holistic shift and you're going to go haywire, which is exactly what happened. I couldn't talk and think at the same time. I couldn't stand light or looking at a screen. So that's why it took, or is taking, more than one appointment, because the whole brain has to rework itself, and it takes time. It really takes time. It's almost like being sick. The other thing that's happened that I didn't expect is my psychic. I've always thought of myself as an intuitive person, but I feel psychic abilities turning on that I didn't expect. And I wanted to share. So with that, I wanted to share that the combination of watching Bashar's interview with you yesterday and then the eclipse happening created this really amazing dream. And first of all, about Bashar, I was so glad that you had him on, because I've kind of been turned off to Bashar, that he has a very bombastic, dramatic delivery that to me, I was just hearing performance. And now that I got to meet and see, Daryl Anka and really hear the underpinnings of the belief systems that Bashar is bringing to us, wow, that totally changed everything for me.
Oh, that's great.
So now, kind of the way I did a deep dive into Robin Land's song, I'm doing that with Bashar today. But anyway, I just wanted to share that I didn't get to see the eclipse because I'm in Oregon and we're completely clouded over.
Oh, that's it's so interesting. Well, when I was kind of keying in on television and I don't know, on YouTube I was watching, and I think I was watching the NASA channel, and it was like in Albuquerque, it was like 30 minutes before here in Texas, but they had mentioned it, and they may have had a feed in Oregon. I don't know where you were, but
I'm in Eugene.
They'd commented on that. Oh wow, interesting.
Really?
Did you see? I just had a guest from Eugene. Did you see him?
No.
Who was my guest from Eugene?
Oh yes, I did. I'm gonna look him up actually.
Yeah.
Yes, Stephen something, I think.
It's terrible that I get, since I have people almost every day, I should be able to remember everybody. Dr. Jeff Tarrant, PhD, psychologist. Yeah,
Tarrant.
He's in Eugene.
Yeah, I'm going to definitely look him up. I liked what he had to say. Back to Bashar for a second. I would love to hear your opinion.
Like I said, I usually never give my opinion on guests. I just gave it that day because he is, in my opinion, the best. But I mean, I don't really, this show is not about me. It's not, and I don't want to influence I do not want to influence the audience. The show is not about me. I help the guests share their experience and stay out of the way and let you guys make up your own minds. So
you really do.
I try to be I just to stay in a way. I'm not sure how I want to say that, but just, try to keep separation from it.
Well, neutral. You stay neutral.
You stay neutral, yeah. So
yeah.
I don't know if I can answer your question about what opinion you're looking for.
Well, it may be a listener or you. This is my question. It's not so much about Bashar. It's really about how to. I really loved what he said about choosing the positive and that direction, and how it does seem that reality is splitting more where, if you're choosing a positive path, it'll be more and more difficult to maybe even not just relate to or observe, but see people taking a negative path. I don't think I put it anywhere near as eloquently as he did. The way that I struggle with that is I think what keeps me depressed and slows down my own advancement is I purposefully keep an eye on things like, for instance, child trafficking, and people who are victimized and suffering. And I want to help. And I suppose a lot of that, there's only so much influence and control that we can have, but I get really lost in the justice of it. And how can I keep moving forward knowing that, especially with kids that are struggling or trapped in some way, that's what I'm struggling with, is how do you move forward? I just want to move everybody forward with me.
Well,
I don't know if anyone else
and I mean, it's fantastic that you care about people so much. Your question is a big question that is asked and we talk about often. I mean, it either goes from, some guests are going to say, whatever these terrible things that are happening, that person signed up for it. From that extreme all the way to the other extreme, whereas we live in a soul trap and we're stuck coming back here over and over again. And that's the explanation for the suffering. So, there is a big There is a big separation between opinions on what's really going on, and that's yeah. I mean, you just have to forgive and move on. You just have to, otherwise you can't. We don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, unless you are having out of body experiences and can go see for yourself, which I haven't. A lot of my guests have. I can't give you the answer for that, because I don't have with any confidence or with any experience to give you that answer. I just can tell you what the guests say.
Yeah. Well, I guess I'm just putting that out there, having that question, and maybe that's something I should maybe bring to Bashar. He does have a way where you can put questions.
Yeah, it sounded like, and I don't know, I met him yesterday, and I did as much preparation as I could for our meeting. I didn't even know he did private channeling sessions. I had no idea. Me neither. I was surprised. Yeah, until he said it when we were together. I thought he just goes to these like conventions or whatever and speaks publicly to large groups of people.
Right.
So, but you'd have to take that up with him, if privately. But I don't know. You bring up a great question. You know what I mean? You bring up a great question. Is what's really going on? I mean, what is really going on? And I'm sure that there's almost 300 people here in the chat. Are you in our Discord?
What's that?
What's Discord? Okay, I had to change it. You have to email me for the personal link, because we got background people in Discord too, causing trouble. But it's kind of like Facebook, but different. There's like about 600 people there from the channel that are just, I mean, I don't want to say just, but they're our community. And it's like a hangout place, and you can video chat, you can voice chat, you can post stuff. That it's like chat rooms, but chat rooms plus, because like they voice chat, they video chat, and everybody hangs out, and it's like a great group of people. And so I think that like-minded people, and you might want to hang out there, and it's totally free. You just go to discord.com and you get a profile, kind of like getting a Facebook profile. You sign up, and then to get into my rooms, you just have to email me, and probably my email address is in the description below, and then you just email me and ask me for the link. I have to create a new link because I had to shut it down a couple weeks ago because, like I said, people were causing trouble. But that would be I think that would be a great place for you to
maybe
to work this out with other like-minded people and get their take on it.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think that'd be great.
Absolutely. And then just to end on about the dream that I had while the eclipse was happening and I couldn't see it. It was a fantastical dream. I was looking up at the eclipse, and really, it was huge, but it actually ended up, I was looking at really what looked like Earth. And I was in this museum with all sorts of antiquities. And like, for instance, like the Aztec calendar, you see all the carvings. In this instance, it was white marble, but when you put your hand on it, it becomes almost holographic and moves with you. And which I think is a neat idea, that maybe these things that look like just stone to us today actually inhabited spirit, and much more than that when they were being used. The other image that came up in my dream that seems almost somehow related to the eclipse is there was this interesting box where, just as you're stepping into the box, you're also stepping out of it. Like the person is watching you leave and watching you come at the same time. So there was just something very interesting about these dualities, that in case the pictures that I have might stimulate another idea for somebody else listening, I just thought I'd put it out there.
When you were talking about it, it reminded me of this guy that's been on Ancient Aliens at least once, but probably more than once. And I just thought about him again. I'd forgot about him. And he lives in, I think, South America, probably Peru. And he shows some of the most amazing places, kind of like Ancient Aliens. Like there's no way the Indians built this place. And for the people out there listening, maybe I should reach back out to him again. But he has a YouTube channel, and there's a place somewhere in YouTube, and it's like an aqueduct, and that the aqueduct ends in a waterfall. And in the video, he was showing that you just touch the waterfall, and it almost stops. It comes to a trickle, and then you touch it again, and starts flowing again. It's amazing. So I think
interactiveness of it. Is this, I believe his first name might be Stefan. He's a younger guy, and he's traveling all over the world to certain parts of the planet to activate things. Is that the guest you're talking about?
No, his name's Brian Forrester, and he does.
Okay.
He also he'll take people I don't know. I mean, not take, but you meet with him in, let's say, Egypt and the pyramids, and you go on a tour with him, and he'll tell you, he'll show you all the stuff. He'll be like, you see this over here? It looks like a giant saw. The blade slipped on the rock and went and cut a big hole in the rock. And he can take you through all this stuff and say, and that's why he'll say that this wasn't, basically built with copper and brass stone tools. It looked like something big that was, working on this place.
Look up Domenhor in Italy. As I say, they've been around for about 40 or 50 years. They are on a ley line that actually is connected to Egypt. And they also believe, I guess you could consider it a, quote, new religion in a way. And they have their own healing tools called selficas. When I went there, and they're made out of copper and crystal and these technologies. And again, I went in with a helmet that was made specifically to help with head injuries, and felt work going on. The thing that Domenhor is famous for is, well, first of all, they believe in ETs, and a lot of what they're trying to do on this planet is to be part of the unification. And I really wish that more people understood that we don't have to be dependent upon the government to connect with the ETs. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not their job. As a people, there's nothing keeping us from, I guess they call it the fifth
dimension.
Let's see. Yeah, or fifth. See, what is that? Something of the third kind. The movie. Oh, Encounters of the Fifth Kind is where it's in person, and there are people in the world like Stephen Greer who are training others how to actually call that in, and I wish there were more of that.
Well, you need to come more often, because even one of our own here, Tanya, an audience member, has been, she came, I think it was last week, and she's calling in ETs, and we have had, I've had quite a few guests that are doing it now, calling in ETs and coming in and showing their videos. And as a matter of fact, I'm going to message him today. He usually comes in, John Martin. He's out there. He's out there live almost every day, and with filming it, and he's calling in ETs live. So I don't know, maybe he'll make an appearance tonight. Anyways, I was going to say I need to run because I'm trying to stay on schedule, and I've got a couple people in the waiting room.
Thank you for allowing me on.
Thank you for so much for coming in and joining us, and don't be a stranger.
Thank you. Okay, bye-bye.
All right, thank you.
Bye, Mara.
She says bye-bye. She says you're sweet. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
And a bigger round of applause. All right, so did we find out if Jennifer or Julie are in the chat? I had what had caught in my eye. I'm not even on that on the video. Do you do how to do OBD episodes? I think quite a few guests will tell you how to do OBEs. Like Augie was on the other night. We went through almost like a little meditation on doing OBEs. If you have. Oh, Julie says yes, I'm here. And JCM, are you Jennifer in Chicago? Telegram, I think, is kind of something. I'm sure someone in the chat will tell you, but Telegram. No, but we probably should be. I guess it's probably like WhatsApp. It's kind of like something like that. I think it's used more by people not in the US. Yes, Facebook. Julie says she has Facebook. You can probably just look her name up. This one, Julie Leclerc. Sorry to have to put you through this, but the background people really, you know, it's kind of a bummer when they come in and attack, because then I have to go and edit the video later, and I'm just trying to save myself editing time. Someone said, don't let JCM yet for sure. And Julie says, it's okay. People are asking her, what's your social? If you... Dream. Oh well. Take a risk. All right. We'll see. We will take a risk here. My wife is feeling.
Oh.
Hello? Julie?
Hi.
All
Can
right.
you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you and see. Have you been here before?
No,
Oh,
I'm
you look
really,
familiar.
oh, I'm not on social media. I'm a super timid person.
Oh, that's okay.
So
You probably have not been here when people show up and do disgusting things on the camera. So that's why we're trying to vet the guests before they come on. That's why we do this. And if you obviously, I don't think we're here for that. So thank you for hanging on and putting up with that.
I'm shaking like a leaf, but it's okay. I'll get through this.
Why? It's just us.
I know it's
you and me and Mara and 290 of your newest and best friends.
I never put myself out. I'm really not present in the media, but
yeah, you're here with a great community that welcomes you. And well, let's ask you this first. Where are you from?
I'm from Quebec, Canada.
All right, great. All right. Probably cold there already?
Yes, it is. Yeah. Except we had an oddly, last week, it was strangely hot, like hotter than in summer. So.
Wow. I think it was a summer or two ago in the western part of Canada up north. It was like crazy hot up there. Like, well, I know Fahrenheit, but it was like 110 degrees. I don't know,
Yeah,
is that 40 degrees Celsius or something? So, you know, I don't know. Earth changes. Who knows what's going on, right?
So I really appreciate your show. So
Thank you.
I'm usually watching your show, and I haven't watched many of these lives, honestly. So I wasn't too sure how it works. I thought it was more prearranged. Like I didn't realize that we could just hop on in and share. And
I'm glad you told me that, because I wonder if there's thousands of other people that think the same thing as you did. What can I do to make that clear for them? That how could I have made that clear to you that that's what it is, not prearranged?
I'm not sure that you could have done anything differently. I think it's just when I popped in, like things were already flowing. So yeah.
All right. Well, what do you have to share with us tonight?
Where to start? So this is not prearranged, so I'll
Of course, we just met. And nothing
so
is
I'll
too
see if
out there for this audience. If you could watch our show, we talk about all kinds of stuff that for a lot of people may seem out there. But for this audience, it's business as usual every day, right?
well, I appreciate you mentioning that. So I guess like in the past years, like I've had like just before COVID hit, I had like a spiritual awakening, and I've always been like connected to the other side. So and like much of like my experiences, I always thought they were like normal and that like other people experience them. So for example, like just like things that I would communicate to people, like sometimes people would say like, how do you know that? And then I'd say, well, you told me. And then they'd say, no, you didn't. Or like even like as a kid, like some of my earliest memories, like I would tell the school teacher, like, I'd raise my hand and I give the answer. And like she like would ask me to explain how I got my answer, and I would just say, well, I just know. So like I've always felt like kind of different, and I've always like kind of felt like I was kind of like in a limbo between like just the world and like kind of the other realm, or I don't know, like but I don't know, in the past like couple of years, I've been kind of like having like more existential questions. And I don't know, like wanting to like dig deeper and stuff like that. And I'm in my 40s, but like my 30s were like really, really difficult. Like it felt like my world just turned upside down. Like I don't know if it was around the age of 33 or 35 or something like that, or in the yeah, probably around like 35. Um, and I don't know, like I had this thought, like I saw a UFO before my daughter was born, my first daughter, and I saw it with her dad, which we're not together anymore. And I don't know, I like came across this information that like if you see a UFO, like you're probably somehow connected, or like there's a reason, like you don't just see that. It's not like a common thing. So and then I got my daughter to check with her dad, and because I said, well, like your dad's seen that too. I don't know why I talked with her about it, but anyway, she said that she talked to him about it and that he never saw it. Like he denied the whole thing and he really doesn't remember. So I asked him, because we were like fairly on good terms after our separation. And I asked him about it and he said, no, I never saw a UFO. And like, so there's been like, so since that time, like I've been like searching for answers, and like things have been like kind of falling into my lap, like, so to speak. So like books and like, I think like Esther Hicks was like one of the first like online, and then like Bashar and things like that, people like that. So I'm like, and then I was like experiencing like different like paranormal things, and then it was getting like more and more frequent. And I'm not sure like what to say from there. But I've had some like really, really like really, really hardcore like physical things manifest. Because one of the things that it's because when I was like exploring more, I kind of like go of the ET stuff. And I was interested in like angels. And then that's when it started, like this ET thing started opening up more, like when I was looking into angels. And and I watched this Bashar, one of his like you go on his channel and you can like order the forget what you call that, but anyway, so
Did you see my video with him yesterday?
no, I haven't seen it yet, but I'm really looking forward to it.
Well, there's a part that I wanted, you know, he talks about his own life, and before he started channeling, he saw a UFO, actually twice in 1 week. And
yeah.
from my take on what he's saying is that is what inspired him to start looking into all this stuff, which ultimately led him into channeling.
Whoa.
And from what you're saying, sounds like that seeing the UFO kind of inspired you to start looking into all this stuff.
Yeah. Oh, that's really cool.
Mm-hmm. And then I have a guest that's going to be on, I've already recorded, it's going to be on Monday night. This guy, and when something you said made me think about this too. He was in the U.S. Coast Guard. His job was he was on a boat. I think he said there's about 200 guys on a boat. And his job, he worked the night shift where he would be literally on the roof of the boat with binoculars and night vision goggles, patrolling, most likely looking for other boats trying to sneak into the country or low-lying aircraft. And he saw a UFO and called downstairs, and it wasn't on radar. And so more and more people, about 20 people, came up topside on the boat, and they all saw the UFOs. But he didn't mention anybody else, so he felt like that UFO also, I'm thinking, from what I remember our conversation, it turned into something much, much more. Much more UFO sightings and him becoming psychic and more stuff. But there was also 19 other people that I don't think it affected, you know what I mean? So maybe like you and your husband, maybe it affected you and not him, or he doesn't even remember it, or who knows what. So I don't know. I don't know if I'm really giving you answers. I can just say that it may have been, a visitation, so it could kind of send you into the direction you are now, or maybe you were a bystander that happened to see it. Because at these CE5 meetings with Dr. Stephen Greer, when those crafts show up, I don't know if they're there for each person, but maybe they are. I don't know. I don't know. Hope I'm not confusing you.
No, that's really interesting. And I think it's when I read like one of or several books on ETs, that they talked about like some people, it's like their memory is like wiped or whatever, and they experienced it, but they don't recall it. It's like they never experienced it, or sometimes it's even like people, like, let's say that I've had like experiences, but it's like my memory comes back slowly because it would be too much for me to handle. Because upon reading some of these books in the beginning, I would fall asleep because I was in total shock. Like it's been really like a work in progress. And even when I would listen to Bashar in the beginning, it would put me right to sleep. And he addressed this like that it's something that happens to other people too, because it's just too much for our psyche to handle.
If he comes back, which he might come back, that's a great thing to ask him is, why do people fall asleep upon hearing that information? Need to put that in my notes here. I think I still have them here. I'm going to put that in my notes because that's a great question. Why do people fall asleep upon hearing certain information?
And something that's happened a lot in my life, and that I always felt different, and I always felt like a lot of the times out of place. And it's happened like as my awakening, like, because it's things open up, and I learn things, I see things, I experience things. But one of the things that I picked up on and that I really struggled with is like I have a very strong energy. And when I was a child, I would get in trouble a lot, even though I was really well behaved overall. Like I I wasn't rebellious or anything like that. But like now, like, let's bring it back to the present. Like, there are a lot of the times there are people who they don't come in my, they don't come close to me. And even like I'll go and I'll sit like in a public area, like say to watch my children's concert. I'm really like being vulnerable here because it's really uncomfortable to speak of, but maybe it can help other people. But like people like I see that they sit close to one another and stuff like that. And me, wherever I'm placed, like I might be just like in the center, like the hot spots of like where to sit at the children's concert. And the parents, they don't sit around me. They sit like that. There'll be like all kinds of empty seats around me, or like even sometimes people, they'll sit like close to me and then they like move away. So it's been really like, you know, already
maybe,
like.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe they. Yeah, my wife says you look like a very sweet person, so I don't see why. I agree, and I don't see why I wouldn't have a problem sitting next to you.
Yeah, I don't think there's anything wrong with me, but like when I checked in on it with like some people who are like I spoke with Vivienne Chauvet.
Yeah, I've had her as a guest. Yeah.
Yeah, so I met with her because of like some of these experiences that I've been having and like being connected to ETs. And she talked with me about my energy and how like the way I'm vibrating, it's like a lot of people are not vibrating like that. So it's just like it doesn't go together, you know what I mean? Like it's too strong for them. So I can't really explain it better than that, but
Yeah.
like there's a reason, like a physical reason.
You know what?
Can I? Oh, sorry.
I was gonna say, did you watch the video that I had? I think it was 2 nights ago with Dr. Rebecca Hardcastle Wright.
No.
And so you need to check out Bashar. So I'm giving you homework. You've got Bashar's videos to watch, and 2 nights to go. 2 nights back with Dr. Rebecca Hardcastle Wright, and I think she had some great things to say about. She's calling it exo consciousness, and she's been a lifelong ET contactee. And I think that maybe you might even want to look into the way she talks about how to make more contact. But I think those 2 videos would be great for you. And then on Monday nights, may give you some answers.
And may I share with you a couple of like physical contact that I've had?
Sure.
Because I was kind of working my way up to that, because
Okay.
this is the hard part, I find. So one of the things that's happened is I had marks on my back, and I had my daughter take photos of it because it was like, it wasn't a big thing, but like I didn't have an explanation for it, and it's not the first time that I have like marks.
Can
And
you
I was like,
describe the marks?
while they were red, it looked kind of like I don't know, I can't really describe it well. It's been a couple of years.
I mean, were there like, sometimes it's like 3 little dots in the shape of a triangle or anything like that?
I think they were lines. But yeah, I can't really describe it better than that. And also one odd thing is like I had my hair grown out, and by my ear, I had like about this thick of a strand cut right by my ear, like a blunt cut. It was really odd. I saw that upon waking up. And I showed some people so that I could just have like, I even showed my hairdresser, and like they didn't push too much to know like where it was from, but I showed a colleague also, and I showed one of my daughters. And another thing that happened is in the middle of the night, I felt like a really strong energy upon waking up, like I woke up in the middle of the night and I felt like this intense energy behind me. And I was like, oh my gosh, I think that like something's in my room. But I was like really afraid to look. And I wish now I wish I would have had the courage to have looked. But I felt it touch my back and I grabbed its hand and I was like going like this, like just to make sure that it wasn't like my own hand or something. And it was like 3 fingers. Oh, it was really scary.
Wow. You know, we just had a guest on earlier tonight saying that, I don't know if you were here about an hour ago.
Yeah, I heard about that. And I
Yeah.
was like, that sounded like this ET's hand, but I didn't see it like, so I don't know what it looked like.
And when you watch Rebecca's video, we talked a lot about people, ET contactees misinterpreting what's going on and being afraid, when a lot of times, from what I remember, the ET's just trying to help the person. But the person's so freaked out about it, which who wouldn't be?
Yeah.
If you had a 3-fingered hand touching your body, who wouldn't be freaked out? But they're misinterpreting the experience.
Yeah.
As we were talking about, maybe all ET abductions and experiences are really benign and them trying to help the person, but the person misinterprets it.
Part of me likes the experiences, but part of me is like, I've always disliked the feeling of not being in control. So, for example, like I've never touched any drugs, and like I stopped drinking alcohol because I didn't like that feeling of not having control. So it brings me back to that feeling. So,
well,
but yeah,
I mean, that makes sense. I mean, yeah, if you had some other being physically touching you, then yeah, it would be alarming, definitely.
So I'm really grateful that you're giving us the space to share, and thank you for making me feel comfortable too.
Yeah, well, thank you.
It was a nice
Thank you for
experience.
coming and sharing with us. Let me see. Somebody I may had some questions. Let me go through the chat here. Where is that? Can you ask? Oh, I don't know. Well, Trevor asked, can you ask what is meant by 3 dots in the shape of the triangle? I'd have to, but I don't think she had that, Trevor. I kind of pointed that out. So I'll have to talk to, next time someone else has it. I think the person who had that, if you go back through my catalog, it's a great, great video. And you might even want to watch that one too, with Terry Lovelace. And him and his buddy were camping. And they happened to be camping in an area that was off limits to people, I think in Arkansas or Tennessee or somewhere out there, and got some kind of ET contact in the middle of the night, and they don't have any memory of it, or I don't think they have any memory of it. But fast forward 40 years later, the guy ended up becoming a lawyer and everything, and got out of the military, and he was a jogger, and 40 years later he had knee pain from jogging. So as any normal doctor would do, okay, well, let's just take a routine x-ray of your knee, and you see this alien implant inside of his knee that looks something like with electrical wires and a little electronic board in his knee. Yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's an amazing video. So, but I think he also had so the triangle marking on him.
I've never had that.
Yeah. Have you been hypnotized?
Yes, yeah.
To see if you had any, did you have any
Yeah, I had
memories
past
of ETs?
life.
What about ET
Yep.
contact?
Yeah.
All right. Well, there you have it.
And Vivian Chauvet, she confirmed it. And I also, another person too. So no, it's pretty clear. Like I don't have a doubt in my mind. It took me a while to get to this, and when I asked for things to slow down, it did, because I was getting really freaked out, because there were other things too, but those are like the little highlights that I was ready to share tonight.
Well, I have a feeling that you're going to figure this stuff out. And once you do, come back and share with us.
Thank you. I
That'd be
think
cool.
this was probably
That'd
a
be a great
step
follow-up.
Yeah, I think it was a step to help me with the blockages. So thank you so much.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you. Have a great rest
Take
of your
care.
evening. Take care.
Bye, everyone.
All right. Bye-bye. All right. And a big round of applause for her. All right. There was something I heard something about. I saw something in the chat. I kind of glanced and it was said stop shouting. I don't know. Was there like something going on in the chat earlier? You didn't see anything? All right. What about, did we ever figure out Jennifer Chicago? No? You know, most people don't have Chicago as a, well, maybe she's from Chicago, because I was going to say most people don't have Chicago as a last name. And somebody was saying JCM or something. I don't know if she or is JCM. But, yeah, that was something. I don't know if you guys have got to see that, but I recommend if you like ET stuff, to definitely go back and watch Rebecca's video from the other night. That was really good. And I recommend that the one coming up on Monday, it's going to be, it's a great one. Great story. And it made me even rethink, like, you know, the famous Accounting with Whitley Strieber. You know, his sounds pretty scary, but again, maybe it was just misinterpreted. And I believe we talked about, when Rebecca and I were talking about that, there was somebody, I guess it's so hard when you have when you go day to day with videos to bring them all back. But somebody, she was saying that the ETs were actually healing this person, like maybe, you know, doing something with their body, and it was interpreted as being something scary, which it really wasn't. Okay, JC Adams is here. I guess JC Adams is Jennifer Chicago. JCM Jennifer Morris. Oh, okay, I think that's who that is. I think Jennifer's, yeah, I think so. I know Jennifer Morris. We'll take a chance. We should keep like a list of like all the background people, so if we ever see that again. Even though they may change their, yeah, they changed their name.
Hello.
Hey, Jennifer, how are you? Thanks for staying with us.
Yeah, no problem.
I had to,
One second, I gotta.
We've had problems, so we just kind of have, you know, we're having to try to work through it.
I know it. I'm like, you know me, Jeff. I'm trying to send you telepathic messages. You know me.
Well, you made it. You got through. I like your background. That looks really cool.
Thank you. Thanks.
Well, what do you have to share with us this week?
It's been quite a journey.
Yeah, what's new?
This has been, so much. 1 second. I am so charged up and so different from way back when I did your podcast.
Yeah.
And I think about you often because I'm so grateful that you gave me that little push to get out in the world.
Oh,
and
cool.
Now I basically can't shut up.
Well, good.
But
have you been guests on other people's podcasts?
Yes.
That's great. Probably as you become a guest more and more, are you starting to recall more of your experiences?
Yes, it's been quite a profound journey up to this point. I discovered that I had a psychic ability with strangers in public.
Mm-hmm.
I put myself out there, and I'd be out in public and I'd get like this energized feeling in my core, and I'm like, okay, something's happening, and if I tune in, I'll get information, and then I feel obligated to go up to that person and say, well, I got this information and I'm obligated to tell you, please don't think I'm crazy.
Mm-hmm. How do they
And
react?
Most of them were they're shocked in the beginning, but by the time I'm done speaking, I had a couple of them in tears. The most profound one was a woman in a restaurant that recently lost a father figure, and I just kept feeling this magnetized pull, and I kept seeing this amazing aura around her.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, I got the information from a gentleman that said, you must tell her that I am now her guardian angel, that I'm always with her. Please let her know. He was desperate to tell. I'm not sure if it was his daughter or, somebody that was just in his life, a friend, but they were very close.
Mm-hmm.
And by the end of me speaking to her, she was crying.
Wow.
And yeah, I've done that a few times. It really freaks me out, because not all the time I get such, deep information about a person, but I had a vision.
Yes.
One morning I sat up, grabbed a marker, piece of paper. I've always got that around me because I'm always drawing. So I just started writing, went back to sleep. Later on, when I researched it, it had to do with, it was all quantum physics. It was periodic tables, abbreviations, numbers that are important to quantum physics. And it, supposedly what I was getting the information was that this is the spark of life. So I finally did figure out what the lines I drew were.
What
and
are they?
They matched two of the Nazca lines perfectly.
What podcast number were you? Do you remember?
I remember it was back in December of 2022.
All right.
And my experience was in January, because I remember I had a Christmas tree behind me. So I'm pretty sure it was in December.
I don't remember what it was myself. I can try to kind of look real quick.
My experience was I had gotten sepsis from just having spinal surgery.
Okay.
And I was sent home. Family had to call 911 because I was incoherent and couldn't speak and all kinds of wild stuff going on. And I went into a coma. The ER doctor, thank God, recognized that it was sepsis and I was dying. I did get to the point where they couldn't do anything anymore. Nothing was really working. So they just kind of left it. My brain, my lungs, my kidneys, they all shut down. So I don't know at what point. I think that it was within the time that I was in the ER.
I found it. This was back. It was called She Was Giving.
Okay,
It
great.
was titled She Was Given a Warning for Humanity. It's number 673. And what was the warning for humanity? I had forgotten.
I had a vision of basically the entire world being swallowed up into the ocean. Icebergs coming down all the way across the land. Japan going first, then California, then the southern Illinois, and wrapping around the whole world, and everything just disappears because our creators are very disturbed at the fact that we were given free will, but
do you feel that future is still going to potentially happen
if we do not get off this track? But right now I am seeing two things happen. I am seeing that some of us are being awakened. we're giving information, we're using it, we're sharing it, and that's what we're supposed to be doing. And that can turn our species around if others start to listen. And also, if it goes in the negative way, it's a possibility. I was told one of many, because my experience was all energy related, all orb. And I spent so much time trying to figure out, why do I feel like this is part extraterrestrial and part higher power? And the conclusion that I've come to with all the research and people I've spoke to and the different groups I've been in, that I kept saying in the podcast I was in, that we are one. They kept telling me we are one. And I kind of, in that human way, just put it in a box and said, okay, we as humans and other nationalities around the world, we're one. But it's not that. It's the universe. It's aliens, species, whatever other species are out there, we are one. And we really shouldn't be thinking of it separately, because right now there's so much going on that we should be paying attention to. But yeah, that, I've had so many things happening to me. I decided to get up and go to school.
That's
So
good.
I'm in school. I just can't seem to get enough knowledge. I, you know, I'm cramming as much as I can into my brain, physics, ethics, psychology. I have also come to the conclusion that I want to go into grief counseling and work NDEs in a group together. I've been working with IONS.
Oh, good.
And I am training to be a facilitator moderator, which I am extremely happy about. It seemed to me that everything that's happened, not just recently with NDEs and all the new knowledge and wonderful people that I've met, I've come to realize that every single part of my life, no matter how difficult it was and how much I, regret something, it was all supposed to happen. I know that I am on the right path.
That's
And
fantastic.
yeah, so I'm very excited. I just want all this information, I want to know everything now, and it's going to take time, because I feel that somewhere down the line, maybe not here on Earth, but somewhere else, I have a much higher purpose. I just feel that within me.
So
I
cool.
did finally, because I also had a distressing part of my NDE that haunted me for months. 6 months.
And have you reevaluated it now?
I had help. I had spiritual help from other people that have had distressing NDEs, and I practiced what they told me, and it finally, for the most part, has gone away. Once in a while it'll come back and I'll wake up screaming again, but I think that part may forever be within me. I think a lot of my experience was, we're giving you a little bit of knowledge about a lot of different things, and we're showing you the good and the bad together. So I've done a lot of evaluating in my head, a lot of thinking. The other guest you had on earlier that was talking about how do I move on and what can I do? I was at that point right around the time I did your show, and I was lost. And I came to the conclusion that I can't do this. I can't sit here and, grovel in my depression. I was given an amazing experience. And I was asked certain tasks, certain things to do, and I'm doing them now. But I think what's helped me is I feel like I've made like a shield around me to keep negative out. Along with my religion, people that I've met, knowledge, training, everything together feels like a shield around me. And there's a lot of times I literally feel like I'm being carried down a path. But I'm still in process of writing my book, and I'm very grateful that right now in school we are learning writing. So writing skills. So that's
great.
helping me.
That's great. Well, Jennifer, I need to run. My time's coming close to an end, and I've got another guest at least to get to. But I think it's an amazing thing that you've had such a big turnaround. I think it's great, and it appears that things are only just going to get better and better for you.
I hope so. Thank you so much.
All right, you take care. Have a great rest of your weekend.
Good to see you again.
Good, you too. Bye-bye.
Bye.
And a big round of applause for Jennifer. That's so great. What a great testimonial and great things that have happened to her. That's awesome. All right. It is the one and only Mr. Cake. Where is he? He's not here yet. He's in the void. There he is.
We're in the void. Ladies and gentlemen, it's Saturday Night Live.
It's sad. You know, it's so funny. As I was trying to...
Close down.
You got 4 or 5 or 6?
Oh, 6 now. I'm trying to find it. I don't know. Don't think so, Jeff. Bashar taught me this trick.
I wish you could hear the music I got playing for you.
Well, I like to tell people that I was gifted with the ability to move quickly, catch balls, and throw them high in the air.
I think you're ready for Ringling Brothers. You're ready to take this act on the road.
Yeah, I'm ready to go up to people and I just say, "How are you, darling?" And then I start juggling for them.
Well, you know, we're getting close to the Christmas season. So does that mean you're going to go out and tell people Merry Christmas again like you've done last year?
The mind jackers might not let me do that anymore.
They won't. That's too bad.
They had me, I was under judgment. Because I said I begged God. And, but I talk about how there's a great mind that we're just not aware of.
The mind jackers.
Yeah, and I say that I don't have, you know how you have thoughts? Like I call them background thoughts or...
Right, well they say that we have about 50,000 thoughts a day.
Well, what I say is that they took those over. So I no longer have I don't have background thoughts anymore.
Wow, you're lucky.
No. Yeah, but instead of that, I have an intelligent agent in there.
Just one?
Well, yeah, it's one right now. Before, though, during my enlightenment or spiritual, they called it a spiritual boot camp. But during that, it could be anything. I said, like, at first it was Mary. They had Mary talking to me.
Right. Did they ever tell you who Monique was? Was that a real entity woman on the other side or just the mind jackers?
Well, see, this is, they gave me a story because I said, this is how like religions are formed and whatnot. It's like they give you this story. And so mine was that we were all in it was a game world. And that, people were trying to win, like we would play, we all had oversouls and we would join in on it. This was an Earth world scenario. This is the story they gave me. And that I was trying to win the game. We were trying to win the game. Mm-hmm. And you couldn't do malicious things to other people. It would disqualify you. See, because they were playing off my own beliefs. Because I say there's a greater mind we're not aware of. And they put an overlay on reality. I could see blessings and curses. I could see there was these kinesiology numbers. And I could just look at a sign and I could see the numbers on them.
I wish you'd get the Powerball numbers.
Yeah. Yeah, but they had all these things like mostly it was like energy, like they would give me energy or take it away, and they could move my body. So I'd say, where are we going? And they'd say, you're going. Take responsibility for where you're going. Because it was just, I said it was fun to let them just kind of take control.
Wow.
They took over my voice I couldn't tell anyone what was going on at all for 6 months. I had sometimes they'd let me speak, but sometimes they would mostly just, because I said there was all these different ways they could make it happen. Like I could influence and then they could do the speaking or movement, or it was the other way around where it's like them fully control. This was like God basically at this point, but it wasn't like the God of the Bible or something like that. It was like my own version. Mm-hmm. And so it was like game masters. There was like the will. So Mary was the will. Father was the creator. And then Jesus was the servant. And so I made a video about this, but it should be in books and movies. Because I said, this just doesn't just happen to people. And they helped me save my life because I wasn't making good decisions. Nobody is. We could all use correction. That's why I said friends and family and just people like that should be helping you make good decisions.
That's true. That is true. So are you still doing the walk and talk videos or putting out any new content?
Well, I've been out golfing, so I haven't really been able to do much, and I am suffering still.
Right. I saw that in a comment today.
Yeah. And so I say my problems are not obvious to people. My voice says all my everything in my life is either backwards or stupid. Because I kept saying paradox, and they said, no, it's not a paradox. That just means something that can't be solved. It's just like they shouldn't be happening.
Right. Right. Well, there appears to be many paradoxes in life. We talked about that yesterday.
They said, you can't figure it all out. I said it's like the wheel of fortune in life.
I think there's also an added part to it. It's like an absurdity as well.
That's what I said. I said I liked absurd humor. All my during this, I got to talk to other. They said this is. See, they won't let me say.
I was gonna say it's now they're taking. Mike, it says our connection's unstable. Are you there?
Yeah, I'm on.
Okay, we're back.
The cellular.
I don't know if it's. I don't know if it was on yours, but on mine it was saying your connection's unstable. Actually, you've been pretty good. In the old days, lately, for the last few months, you actually, our connection's been well. I don't know if you remember the old days. You used to really freeze.
I know. It would bother me because I would tell these jokes and I would do impressions. And then when I'd go back and watch them, I said, you couldn't even hear what I was saying. And sometimes I'd miss what you were saying too. I couldn't even hear it.
Right. Somebody would like to talk to Paul or John. or Ringo or George.
We're gonna get Paul out here, man. Ringo's more like this. He talks like this, man. Or John Lennon. I'm a John Lennon impersonator.
Do you think you could ever do Mick Jagger?
Who's he talk, mate? Is he going like that, mate? Who's he talking, mate? No. But sure, mate. He's doing some kind of English accent there. But crikey, mate, we went out there the other day and there was a giant croc right down by the lake there, mate. And I went down for my ball, snapped my ball right in half, mate. You don't want to go down there, mate.
Well,
I was in French Canadian. I had a French Canadian here in Quebec here. We were playing hockey out there in the old ice rink.
I've had another request.
I do about 150 impressions.
I have a request here for walking.
Christopher talking. He's crazy. He's nuts. He's off his rocker. He gave me a snake for Christmas. And I said, "What's in the box?" He said, "You'll find out."
Did you ever see the Saturday Night Live where he was telling them we need more cowbell?
We need more cowbell. Marty. It's not 1985 anymore, Marty. I bumped my head, Marty. It's serious stuff, Marty. You got to go back in the future, Marty. Your mom's in trouble. Biff Tannen and the whole future, Marty. It's in your hands.
It's funny that you say that. I saw an article today that someone has had a DeLorean in their barn since like 1987 or something. It only has like 15,000 miles on it. It's been sitting in someone's barn for that many years. The guy in the car, people say it's great because it's not all faded, but there were rats in it.
One thing that they do now is, I said, I relate a lot to movies because I said it's like the great mind. What's the religion? And Bill and Ted's like, whoa, it's really fast, man. It's like they just say be excellent to each other.
Yeah.
It's like that's the religion in the future.
Yeah.
Be excellent to each other, man. Well, dude.
That's great. I never saw.
And they're not very smart either.
Did you see the third one?
Parts of it.
I haven't seen it. I have not. Have you seen the movie Idiocracy?
Yeah, I saw that. I asked about that. I asked the mindjackers about that one, and they don't think that's quite accurate. But there is a saying. It's irony. It's like life is full of this irony. We never expect the future. It's like almost impossible to predict.
Yeah.
What's going to be.
Someone wants to hear Jack Nicholson.
It's Jack freaking Nicholson here. This ain't a reality TV.
That's pretty good. I think that's the first time you've ever attempted that.
Yeah. I said, I can do about 150, but most of them are just micro impressions. Most of them are just like me doing a small little impression like this one out here, whatever this is. Could be Jack Black or Jack Nicholson, whoever I feel like doing.
I think you could probably do John Wayne pretty good.
John Wayne. Hello, Pilgrim. How are you? Nice to see you. Nice to be on the show again.
Can you do Al Pacino like Scarface or any of those other movies?
Yeah, like usually people ask for ones I don't normally do. But I can do Sean Connery here. Oh, but this one here we go. Ian McGregor, he's going to play Obi-Wan Kenobi in the new movie. Obi-Wan Kenobi. I've been in the desert for 500 years. It's getting tired out here.
Luke of Stoke Factor wants to hear Jeff Goldblum.
Jeff Goldblum, I love him. He's zany. He's crazy. He's running apartments with dinosaurs in them. But he says, watch out. We're going to do a little experiment here with how many balls we can juggle. 5 balls, 6 balls, you name it. That's what I got to do.
What about Charlie Sheen?
I don't know if I could do that one.
Yeah, that is a difficult one. What about Johnny Depp, Jim Carrey. There lots of names are coming in now. Lots of requests. I've got Johnny Depp. I've got Sean Penn. I've got
John Depp. He's going out there. He's jumping around. Black pool. He's see if I can do that one.
What about Jim Carrey?
All righty then. He's got a lot of energy.
Yeah.
He talks about manifesting all the time.
I would be great to get him on. I should look into that because he's actually a really spiritual guy, and I think it would be great.
He believes in some kind of
podcast.
Manifesting.
I don't know how I would.
Writing down what you want. Yeah.
At that level, you have to work through their PR people and their publicist, and it's because there are some celebrities out there that have had all these either ET experiences or NDEs and stuff. But when you get into those kind of celebrity names like that, you can't just message them on Facebook and say, "Hey Jim, you want to come on the show?"
You could if you had your own Tonight Show. You could just get them on. Wow, bring them out, bring the guest, and you do a great job. Wouldn't you?
But if we could get this up to 1 million subscribers, some of those people would probably be reaching out to me.
Yeah, that's how it happens. It's good. They call it the upward spiral.
Right.
Where it's just at a certain point, you have too many guests. You can't bring them all on.
Yeah. It's so true. It's so true. Well, brother, I'm already into overtime and I've got to catch one more guest. But there's a lot of Trump right now. It's getting closer to the election, so you're going to have a lot of material to work on.
Let me tell you something, folks. We're going to do something very large in this country. It's going to be so big, you're going
to... That's probably my favorite is Trump.
We're doing something very large. Fake news, folks, fake news. But we're going to do something big. Very big, very big.
Very, very big, folks. It's going to be tremendous.
It's going to be huge, darling. We're going to love it. Love it out here. Thank you, Mara. I love you over there. You're wonderful.
She says we love you too.
And I love everyone out there. Thank you so much. You're wonderful.
All right, brother. I gotta go. I'll see you next week. Have a great day.
Have a great night, everyone.
Cheers. All right, before I go, we have Chris Torres here, and I was about to jump right into this, but then we need to go back through our vetting. Is Chris Torres in the chat? I don't know if he's there or not. Chris, if you're there, you have to answer quickly. Anyways, again, so tomorrow night it's Professor Brenson who had an NDE from a heart attack. So that's tomorrow nights. And then Monday night is the psychic firefighter, who is a man that while on patrol with the Coast Guard during his nightly duty spotted a UFO, and then 20 other people came out and saw it too. And eventually it led him into being a psychic and doing other things. That's Monday nights. I think you guys would really enjoy that one. And it says Chris is here. I don't know which person is Chris. Torres? No, Chris isn't here, Jeff. Says Shira. By the way, Shira, she reminded me today, thank you, Shira, about the eclipse. I went out there, I don't know if you were here earlier, but I did take a picture of it, but it didn't come out very good. Nothing that is spectacular, but what you could see is I took a picture of the sun, kind of like I was trying to angle the camera and selfie pose. And the sun still, you could see it was still kind of bright, but it had like a brighter ring. But the interesting thing was you could see the reflection off the window of the sun, and you did see that ring of fire look. So it was pretty cool. But it was nothing to like really show you guys. I mean, there's so many better pictures out there. All right, it says he is in the chat. Troll, he is. Infinite Mind, Indigo, I wear my sunglasses. It says Chris Torres right there. Oh, there he is. Chris Torres, Infinite Mind for Thinking. All right, he's there. Let me see what is going on with that. We don't know anything. Do you have a Facebook page, Chris? And what would you like to come on and talk about? Which I guess anybody could say anything and still come on and talk about whatever. I want to help people break free from the matrix. What do you think? He says he wants to help people break free from the matrix. It would be a chance on our very last guest, and then we get to do editing. I asked. He has not responded, but there is a delay. Matrix breaking. We can see something. That's it. I guess I have to put it in the chat. I guess people could still put up a fake but I guess, I don't know, it would be nice if whoever this, you know, like whenever a background person creates a YouTube channel, YouTube knows who he is. I don't know if I could contact YouTube and find out. Because usually they're not in the chat. Before they weren't in the chat. Were they? Has anybody ever been in the chat and actually been a background person? Someone says keep your finger on the exit button. Mm-hmm. I don't know. Oh. Oh, wow. I guess we'll have to, we don't know where to go with this. You, Jeff, you an NPC. Now they're telling me I'm an NPC. I'm a background person. Ask the psychic in the chat. Flip a coin. Can I put my live feed is on a, it actually is already on a delay, but there's no dump button like they say in radio. In radio, it's a delay, but the delay where they can, you know, they can hit the button and block it out, but there's no way because I'm going from something into YouTube and there's no way to stop it within YouTube once, you know, I can't play it back. And I'm not even, you know, on the radio station as well, they have a producer or somebody manning the radio board. And so he's another guy listening. And as it finally comes up, it shows that, you know, then they can kind of hit the button and delete the audio.
It's gone.
So, oh, he's gone. He's gone anyways. Oh well. Alrighty, guys. Well, anyways, we went about 13 minutes over time. So thank you guys so much for coming in, sharing with us. It was a pretty busy night tonight. It was over 300, which is great, which I'm glad to see it growing. I really want to see this chat growing until like 1,000 people. Right. All right. Thank you, Luke. Well, I went over that actually, Luke. 333. So, I would really like to see it get to 1,000 people minimum. I want to see the chat just scrolling by fast, just like with video game players. And guys, listen, I mean, oh, Leslie Kings. Yeah, Leslie, thank you so much for the super chat. I don't know if Leslie is still here and if Leslie is doing his playing live for everybody. But I was going to say, if you go watch Video Gamers live stream, I mean, there are people that get 20 and literally 20 to 30,000 people in the chat watching. So it is possible. I've seen it. So, you know, it's like kind of like abundance, manifesting. We have to manifest that we get thousands and thousands of people all here watching. And if it can happen with video games, it can definitely happen with this. It just has to be promoted. And it was a great thing tonight. I forgot her name, the guest tonight, that she thought this was all pre-planned out. That was great insight, that she had no idea that it would just, this is completely spontaneous. So maybe all the other thousands of subscribers think the same thing. And that's what we maybe somehow I've got to figure out how to let them know that it's spontaneous and you can join. Anyways, on that note, thank you guys again. We will see you next Saturday. Have a wonderful week. We love you guys. God bless you and good night.